Okay, this is Unit 6, Lesson 6. Vocabulary review. When is a ratio a unit rate? Can I get a volunteer to explain that? I wanted you guys to think about...
Please pardon the interruption. The time is 9:21. It is now time for high school to transition from first period to second period. High school should be transitioning from first period. Thank you.
No, you got a guess in the back? When you're comparing something with one, that's good. I try to get you guys to think about a keyword. The word unicycle. How many wheels on a unicycle? One. So when we're talking about unit rate, we're talking about finding the rate for 1 unit of something. Keyword one, unicycle. Just trying to get you guys to connect to other words that sound similar. All right. Write the unit rate for each situation. Number 2, 192 kilometers in 24 days. Who has that unit rate? Miranda, go ahead. Right. Very good. So if you take and write as a fraction, 192 divided by 24 gives you 8 kilometers. Remember, per or the fraction bar, that's division, kilometers per day. Okay? Number 3, who's got that one? Bryce, yes, go ahead. Yes, that's a 4. You have, what do you have? Okay. Can somebody help him out? It sounds like he couldn't see the problem with that there. Jeffrey, go ahead. 62. 62. Make sure you have the units.
Miles.
Not just miles. Miles per hour or miles over hour, yes. Okay. Remember, units, having your units, if you don't have the units down when you're taking an assessment, I gotta dock points. Like that's just as important as the numerical answer. Who's got the next one, number 4? Tata, go ahead.
25 push-ups per minute.
Nice. 25 push-ups per minute. Very good. And who's got number 5? Somebody I haven't heard from? Khadijah? 60 words per minute. Very good. Any questions about the warm-up? All right, so let's get on with our lesson. What you'll learn: to solve proportions using unit rates, mental math, and cross products. Why learn this? To know the price of 6 oranges, but you want to buy 8. You can solve a proportion to find the total cost of the quantity that you want to buy. You can use unit rates to solve a proportion. First find the unit rate, then multiply to solve the problem. So here we go. It's an example. Unit rates. Shopping. Use the information above to find the cost in dollars of 8 oranges. So do you guys see how many oranges do I have here? 6. And how much is it for these 6 oranges? So you need to use that information to solve this problem. We want to buy 8. How much is that going to cost us? The first class came up with 2 different strategies. Let's see what you guys come up with. Anybody want to share with the class how they got their answer? Robert.
Okay, so first I did 234 minus 6
Nice.
equals 1.9
Okay, so you found the unit rate, how much it costs for each orange, and then what'd you do?
times it by 8.
Times it by 8? Okay, that's one strategy. Okay, and how much was it? That gives you back $3.12 for 8 oranges. Did somebody have a different strategy? Some of the other class said, hey, they took 39 cents, and that's how much one orange costs, right? How much would 2 oranges cost? 78 cents. And then they took 78 cents and they added it to 234. They gave them back 312. Because 234 is how much 6 costs. So if they figured out how much 2 of them cost, they can add the cost of 2 to the 6. You guys understand the other strategy? Okay. Next one. Oops, not this one. This one. Postcards cost $2.45 for 5 cards. How much will 13 cards cost? See if you guys can figure that out. Got it. Who's got an answer they'd like to share with us? Nima? What'd you divide?
245 divided by 5.
And what'd you get back? 49 cents a card? Or $4,900 a card? Okay. And so what'd you do with that information once you got that unit rate?
13.
Okay, so you're going to take that and multiply it by 13. And what'd you get back when you multiply by 13? $6.37. Are we good? Any questions? Okay. Anybody have a different method? Okay. Does everyone understand what you did? So this is more cookbook. The alternate method I said earlier. Sometimes that you can do that. Sometimes not so much. But here, find the unit rate, multiply by the number that you want to purchase. All right. Move on to the next problem. Here's one more example like that. Swim goggles. Swimming goggles cost $84.36 for 12. At this rate, how much will new goggles for 17 members of a swim team cost? Can somebody share with the class their answer when they're done? Somebody different. Jaden, I don't think I've heard from you today. Go ahead. Have I? Okay, let's see what we got.
First, I found the unit rate for each goggle, so I did 36 meters divided by 20.
Okay, so you found the unit rate, and what did you get back for your unit rate?
7.
7 3/100 per goggles. Okay.
And then I multiplied it by 17 because that's how I put it.
Right, so we want 17, so we're going to take the unit rate and multiply that by 17. And what did you get when you multiplied that by 17?
119.
Very good. $119.51. $119.51. Okay, I know that's kind of weird the way they worded it. All right. Any question about that problem? Are we good? Okay, now listen. I was really hesitant to put this in the lesson because when we first started doing equations, I don't know how many people mentally thought, I can just mentally solve all equations. But can you mentally solve all equations? All right. So typically with this particular book, they introduce the mental method to solve equations, but that's really not how they want you to solve equations. And they even say it right here. Take a look at this. You can use mental math to solve some proportions. I didn't add that word some. That was in the book. For some reason, people want to say, that means I could try to solve all equations mentally. Don't do that. This is just to introduce you to solving proportions. Okay, when a proportion involves a variable, you solve the proportion by finding the value of the variable. Okay, so we're going to solve these two proportions using mental math. If you guys remember from yesterday, proportions are two ratios that are equivalent to each other. It's an equation. A proportion is always an equation where two ratios are equal to each other. So here we have this ratio, z 12ths, is equal to 21/36. Okay? We're going to solve this proportion for the unknown variable z. Michaela.
7/12.
Okay, so you're saying that this proportion should be 7/12. How did you find the value for z?
Well, I know 12 times 3 is 36.
Right.
And you have to do the same to both.
Right, so z times 3 gives you 21, so then you filled in the unknown. 7 times 3 gives you 21, so z equals to 7. Okay, some of the other class had another way to think about this, and I wanted to explain it this way just to give some variation, but does anybody have another way to think about this mentally? Noah? Right, so that's exactly, and that's how I personally think about it. I think about division. 36 divided by 3 gives me 12, so 21 divided by 3 gives me 7. Both ways work, okay? Now, you can't always use mental method, but that is one way. Jameson, can you hang that in the back, please? Okay, for this one, who can explain how they would mentally solve this problem? Somebody different, somebody I haven't heard from yet. Carlos?
It's going to be 4. Because 10 times 4 equals 40.
Right, 10 times 4 equals 40. So how do we know what n's going to equal?
You have to multiply by 8.
Okay, so what did you get back for n?
36.
32.
32.
There you go, 32. So 8 times 4 gives you n equals 32. Very good. Okay, if you want to think about it as division, 40 divided by 4 gives you 10. What divided by 4 gives you 8. 32 divided by 4 gives you 8. There's a couple ways to think about that. Okay, any question about the mental method? You can only use it sometimes, not all the time. Let's solve these 3 problems using the mental method really quickly. If the homework says solve mentally, I still want you to explain how you went about it, the same way I did here in the notes. Can somebody get this first problem for us? Jameson, how would I mentally solve this proportion? This one right here.
So you see what times 8 equals 24?
Right, and what multiplied to 8 gives you 24? 3, very good. So if I'm going to multiply the denominator by 3, that means I also have to multiply what by 3? The numerator, very good. So what does that mean B's got to be? 9, very good. Okay, everybody understand that? Okay, who's got this one to explain to the class? Somebody I haven't heard from yet. Marcellus, can you explain this one to us? Well, what times 5 gives you 40? Right, so if I'm going to multiply 5 times 8 to give me 40, that means m times 8 gives you 16. What do you think m is going to be? What do I multiply times 8 to give me 16? What can I replace for m to make that true? 2. So 2 times 8 gives you 16. Okay? Understand? All right. I see you smiling back there like, oh, okay, makes sense. Makes sense? Good. Who's got another one? Who I haven't called on? Jakari. Jakari's back there. He's upset that I called on almost everybody but him. Jakari, can you walk me through this problem? Nice. 15 divided by 3. That was a mistake. That should be divided by. Let me fix that. Or actually, I had the arrow going the right. So 5 times 3 gives me 15. I did change the direction of the arrow. So, but you could think about that. 15 divided by 3 gives me 5. So what would P have to be if I'm dividing by 3? What is it? 10. Nice. So 30 divided by 3 gives you 10. Or something times 3 gives me 30. That would be 10 times 3 gives me 30. 5 times 3 gives me 15. So here's what we got. P equals 10. Very good. Question?
Okay, so the last one.
Uh-huh.
I knew that like 15 and 30, 15 was half of 30, and so I did 5 as half of 10.
Okay, that's one way to think about it. Let's go ahead and move on. Now we're going to solve these using cross product. Okay. Many proportions cannot easily be solved with mental math. That's the book's words, not mine. In these situations, you can use cross product to solve a proportion. Remember cross product from yesterday's lesson? Okay, so let me walk you through how we would solve this example, and we're going to do a couple on our own. What would the cross product be for these? If we assume that we have a proportion, these ratios are equal, what would the cross product be? What am I multiplying? It's cross products plural. There's 2 products. What are they? Go ahead, Mason. I haven't heard from you. Go ahead.
You multiplied 15 and 38.
15 and 38. What else am I multiplying? Cross products. You have one of the products that we're taking the cross of. What's the other one? 25 times x. Very good. So you guys see what we just did? Okay, even color-coded it to try to get you guys to see what's going where. All right, now you guys simplify that. And just for the sake, because we're short for this period, 38 times 15, here we go, is 570. And then 25 times x is just 25x. You guys remember that? How do I isolate my variable? Class, as a whole, how do we isolate? Divide by 25. Very good. So if I divide both sides by 25, what happens to my 25s? They cancel out. They become 1, and then 1 times x is just x. And 570 divided by 25, that gives me back a decimal value. Okay? Are we good? Now, I have 3 problems right here for you to work out. Really quickly. I'm going to assign 3 people this problem. Gabby, can you do the first one? Alexia, can you do the second one? And then who haven't I heard from yet? Charles, can you do the last one? Gabby's got number 1. Alexia's got number 2. Charles, you got the last one. So you're going to help us walk through that one. If you want, I'm going to show you this one up here. Do you see what we did up here? Okay, so you're going to be doing the same thing down here for this problem. Okay, you even got some time. That's why I gave you the last one. So you can see how Gabby does hers, Alexia does hers, so that you can get yours done. And I almost forgot one more person back there. You're gonna be coming up soon. So Gabby, can you walk us through the first step? What's the first thing I got to do? I got to do not cross multiply. It's the cross products. There's 2 of them, plural. So what's the first cross product? Right, so you're going to multiply 12 times 21. Okay, and that is 252. And then what else are we going to multiply? 15 right, 15 times x. So this becomes 252, and this becomes 15x, right? Okay. So just to get you started. So Charles, do you see how to start yours now? Okay, so hopefully when we get done with these first 2, you'll be good to go. So Gabby, it is going to be a decimal, and there's only one place. It's only to the 10th place. Did you get an answer? Can you tell me what the next step is? Divide both sides by 15. Very good. And then, are you almost done? What'd you get? 1 point. You're close. 16.8. Make sure you have your decimal in the right spot. So if you're on top, you're in the house. This is out of the house. 15 goes in there. 15 goes into 25 once. Then we subtract. Okay, make sure you have your decimal in the right place. Okay, any questions about that problem? Okay, good job. Next problem, Alexia. Can you walk me through your steps so far? Very good. So you multiply 16 times 51, and you multiply 30 times d. And so what does that become when you multiply those things? Very good. And what's 30 times d? Very good, 30d. So far we're good. What's the next step to isolate my variable? Right, we're going to divide both sides by 30. And do you need a little more time? Okay. Charles, get me started. What am I doing?
Okay, so you're multiplying 110 times 35.
Okay, that's one of the products. What's the other product?
Times 100.
Nice. Okay. Now we need to simplify that. We got to find out what is 20 times m? Look at what we did up here. You see what this became? You see what this became? So what's this going to become?
It will be 20 over.
No, 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 no. Just look at this part right here. This became what?
The blue? Or the
Right here. Look at this. Do you see 30 times d?
Yeah, I see that.
We don't usually write it like that. We usually write it this way.
Okay.
Okay? So 20 times m is just going to be 20m, right? And what's 35 times 110?
I got 3,350.
I think you need to carry something. It's 3,850. Is that what you meant to say? Okay. And how do I isolate my variable? How do I, right, I'm going to divide both sides by 20. So you can go ahead and work that out and tell us what you got here in a moment. I'm going to come back to Alexia. Alexia, what do you have? So when you did your long division, does 30 go into 81? It goes in there twice, right? And so 60 from 81.
Good morning, middle school students and teachers. This is the end of your second period. Sixth grade students should be moving to third period at this time. Seventh grade students should be beginning their flex period at this time. And our eighth grade students should be making their way to the lunchroom at this time for their lunch. Again, middle school second period has come to an end. Sixth grade should be moving to third period, seventh grade to flex, and eighth grade should be moving to lunch at this time. Thank you.
Okay, you guys can verify your long division. D equals 27 and 2/10. Charles, what did you get for your division?
I still didn't finish that.
Have you started?
Yes, I did.
What did you get so far?
Okay, so I did
3,850 divided by 20. How many times does 20 go into 38?
Once.
Once. And so then you're left over with 108. You're left over with 18. Bring down the 5. 185. 20 goes to 185. How many times?
185?
Mhm.
That's the part that
Okay, it's 9 times. But we're not going to spend all day going over. Here's the answer. Okay? Because we're short on time today. I'm going to cut to the chase. You guys can verify your long division on your own. Moving on. Here's the next part. The end. How does a unit rate help you solve a proportion? Who can explain that to the class? Think about the problems, the first set of problems we did. How does a unit rate help you solve a proportion? Miranda, I haven't heard from you too much today. Go ahead.
You can divide by whatever the rate is to get the unit rate, and then multiply the unit rate by how much you want it to have.
Right, so the book gave something similar to what you're saying here, just to polish it up a little bit. Finding your rate, it gives you a denominator of 1, so you only need to multiply to solve the problem. So you had some of the pieces there. Just wanted to give you guys the book example. All right, so number sense. Does the proportion 3/7 equal x over 21 have the same solution as 3/7 over 21x over x? Explain. Do they have the same solution? Actually, that is a typo. Sorry. This should be a 7. And this should be a 3. That was a typo. Sorry, guys. Okay. Do you see why they would have the same solution?
Yeah.
So 3 times 21, 7 times x, 3 times 21, 7 times x. You're going to have the same cross products. All right? Does that make sense? Question about that problem? That was a typo. I apologize. Okay? Now, solve each proportion before we roll out. Solve each proportion. If you want to solve it mentally, great. If you want to solve it using cross product, great. Jameson, can you tell me the first problem?
Okay, so you have to figure out what 5 times 10 equals.
Right.
What times 5 equals 10.
Right.
5 times 2 equals 10.
Okay, very good.
2 times 2 equals 4, so n equals.
Right, so you said that the difference between this ratio and this ratio is a factor of 2. So you said 5 times 2 equals 10. And so 2 times 2 would give you 4, so m would have to equal 4. How many of you guys did it mentally? Okay, did anybody do cross product? Okay, well, if you didn't do cross product, here's cross product, just to show you that cross product works the same way. So 2 times 10, that's the first product, and then 5 times m. So here's what we got. 20 equals 5m. And then to isolate my variable, what am I doing? Dividing by 5. And then my 5's cancel. 20 divided by 5 is what? 4. So the same answer that Jameson gave us. So who can walk me through the next problem? Marcellus.
1 times 4 equals 4.
Right. So a factor of 4, 1 times 4 gives me 4. So what's y going to be?
24.
Very good. So 6 times 4 gives me 24. So we see the difference of a factor of 4 from 1/6 to 4 over y. That means y would have to be 24. If you did this using cross product, 1 times y is 1y. 6 times 4 is 24. 1y equals 24 or y equals 24. Yep.
Oh, I was going to ask the next problem.
Okay, go ahead. You can do the next problem.
I know that 7 times 4 equals 28.
Okay.
3 times 4 equals 12.
Okay, so you recognize that 7 with the multiplied by 4 gives me 28. So 3 times 4 gives you back 12. Did everybody understand that? So b is 12. Here's the cross product method. 7 times b, 3 times 28, 84. Divide both sides by 7. And that gives me 7 equals b equals 12. Any question about the lesson for today?